Hi everyone, I'm going to be doing this video on Eazy-E. Thank you to the person who commented this suggestion. I was actually thinking about what I wanted to respond back to you on this, and as soon as I was thinking about this, a lot of messages were coming through, so I thought, okay, I better just go do this video. So what I wanted to talk about in the message though is that I've actually never done anything like this before. What makes this unique for me is because in my personal life, in my work life, I've mentioned this on my channel before, but that I do murder cases. So these are people that I know that they're passed away, and it's about finding the details of what happened and why it happened, and any messages coming through from that soul. And in my personal life, I have done readings where I've attempted to communicate with people that I know that have passed away to see if there's any wisdom that they can share, and people who I felt there was more to the story of how they passed away, and to get information from there. And so with this, I don't know Eazy-E. I've never known him. He was not murdered, so I'm just kind of trying to, what I'm gonna do is like attempt to connect to his soul, right? And see what's going on there. The dangerous part about this personally is because there's a lot of trickery on the other side, right? On the spiritual side, there's a lot of trickery, and there has to be a lot of preparation and like really paying attention, like really good discernment on who's who, you know, and really figuring out if this is this person, this soul, or if it's someone masking as them, or, you know, so on and so forth. So this is everything regarding psychic work, I feel personally, is a very dangerous calling, but in particular when it comes to people who've passed away, it is extremely dangerous. And there is a lot of truth in these religious people's fears of, you know, speaking to people who are passed away, and they're actually talking to, you know, evil, and that is very true in a lot of cases. So just bear with me, because I don't know what information is going to come through, and I am going to possibly have a lot of editing in this if I have to pause, a lot of pauses, because I need to figure out who is coming through and what they're saying. But what I can say, so linking back, right? Linking back to what I said about how I've done murder cases, and, you know, very rarely have I found people who have crossed over that are still bound to earth in a way that I can feel their passion and their stress. It's a stressful period for them to cross over, because they feel that they miss the mark, like they miss their soul's calling here on earth. And you know, with murder, it's taking someone else's free will, or sometimes it's their destined path. And so there's a lot of complication there with that. And so the person who passed away normally will have empathy for themselves and sympathy, and it's very peaceful. But the people who have been killed, and they had this intuition, like, I need to leave this situation, I need to go here, I need to do that, and this was not part of their destined path at all. Like, this was not, you know, obviously they knew that this was a possibility before they incarnated into that life, or they died, but they knew that that shouldn't have happened because they didn't complete their lesson. Am I making sense? So that's their energy is still locked in a lot of ways, because they have to do a lot of healing on the other side. It's like, my best, I mean, I'm not going to go into it because I don't want to look at it right now, and I haven't actually explored this because I try, like, the way that I do things is not forceful necessarily. And anyway, so it's kind of like your soul team, like your spiritual team. There's people who help you cross over when you pass away in this life, and it's to make that transition easier for you and safer for you. And it's, you know, people who will transmute, like they will appear in human form or angelic form, whatever is peaceful to you and understanding to you, since you are still in that human mind. You know, like there's a part of you that's still your attachments here, like cords, it's like soul cords or something, and it's like you're still tied here, but you're transforming into like your soul. Okay, anyway, I think I hope this is making sense, but anyway, so maybe it sounds like I'm ranting now, but this has a lot to do with Eazy-E, because that's how I feel for him, is that he's having a hard time transitioning over. And I see this with people who have been murdered and have been told to the public or to their family that it's suicide. And I'm talking from personal experience from my readings, so this can transpire over other instances too, but that has always been my experience, and I know that's what I felt with Eazy-E. And with that being said, he came through almost yelling, like his energy, like he's not yelling at me, he's not angry at me, but it's how the passion is coming through. Sorry, it's getting really dark here. It's probably going to start storming really bad, it seems. So that's kind of ominous. He is saying to me, they effing played me. Like, they fucking played me. That's what he's saying over and over again. And that it wasn't AIDS. Because when I was thinking about him, like, I don't know much about him as a person. I was thinking, I'm pretty sure he passed away from AIDS. And then immediately he's like, it's not AIDS, it's not AIDS. You need to get it through to them. Like, you need to get it through. You need to make it clear that it's not AIDS. I did not die of AIDS. They fucking played me. And it's that repetition over and over and over again. There's something deeper there, something darker, more sinister there. The reason I say that is because I can see other figures, and I'm not looking to identify who they are. It's in my peripheral, to my left, and a little bit to my right, and then like above me, and they're kind of like smiling and saying like, basically like, oh, you think you're so good, like you think that you got it, like you think that you have it, you think you have this information. And so I'm gonna stop talking about it because obviously they want me to talk about that, which I'm not going to. I don't know where to take this, since again, I usually have a focus when it comes to people who've passed away, and you know, this channel is really to speak to the guardian angels of the person who is living, so that they can be on their divine path. And you know, this is information that you guys can take as well that can help you. So hearing a small whisper to take these. So we're just, I don't know, we're just gonna see. I do feel a sense of sadness and regret because he wishes he could have done more. He feels he should have done more. There's someone that he left behind, that it's a female that he feels could have been his one true love, and he's acknowledging that had he lived, it wouldn't have worked out. Like, it's almost like, you know, for the person that I wouldn't have taken that chance. Like, I wouldn't have been good to her. I wouldn't have been good to you. Like, I wouldn't have listened anyway if anyone told me how to treat you right. But I would have wanted you anyway. And as a soul, I see how I should have been, or I could have been to you. He's acknowledging that the world is twisted up, and he's calling himself a messenger. He's saying, I'm a messenger. I'm the messenger, and the world is twisted up. They have you twisted around their finger. The music industry is fucked. I am seeing him, he's showing me that he talks to people in the music industry or in Hollywood, whatever you want to call it. Like, he talks to people in real life, and they knowingly talk back to him, and their rebuttal is always, well, you're dead. So it's like, yeah, you might have a point, yeah, you understand, but you're dead. And it's like he's trying to he's like, no, I am getting my message across. It's not I'm trying to get my message across. I am getting my message across. He's working through other musicians, artists. He's specifying artists. So that might translate into more than just music. It does, is what he's saying. It does. Because art is expressed in many different ways, and his message is coming across. Something about, he's trying to correct me, like he wants me to be clear, because he knows that this is very important. So it's like when I said something about, it's like he's saying like, no, you have it, you can figure it out. And he has this like nurturing side to him, like a very soft side to him that's like parental in a way, like not like an older brother, where he's like, you can do it, like let's figure it out, let's work it out together. Like he's a teacher. He's a teacher in a way, as on a soul level, teaching people here on earth that he's communicating specifically with on his message, where he's connecting, since he is passed away, he's crossed over, where he's connecting with other realms, but he's like in this space in between. He's like he's floating in between, like an in-between stage. So he hasn't reincarnated here, he hasn't reincarnated anywhere else, and it's like he's getting more comfortable and more suited in where he's at in space, in the cosmos, like in infinity. There's a big emphasis from him on meditating, in whatever way is meaningful for you. So whether that's listening to uplifting music, or just doing whatever would put you into a meditative space in order to connect to God. And it's like he's like kind of like pounding his chest, like with his fist, like, I am the messenger. That's what he's saying, like, I'm the messenger. He's determined to get this across to everyone. And now I see him and he's like excited. He's excited because he wants me to explain that he's more like, okay, so what these people that I talked about, where their rebuttal to him is like, well, you're dead. So he wants me to explain how people, they mask death as like a weakness, as like, okay, well then now you don't exist, or you don't have a purpose, or like you've lost your chance, you know. And he's understood, and it's like okay, so it's like he's gripped, it's like he's showing me he's like gripping time reality, like he's like gripping it, where he refused to move on, like he refused to like move somewhere else, because they thought that if they got rid of him, that he would just, like, they underestimated his soul strength. So they thought that he would just peacefully or unpeacefully, it doesn't matter to them how he crosses over, but that he would just move on into infinity. Like he would just move on and, you know, either reincarnate and try and follow something, you know, in his life lesson, or he would, like, he's like saying like they're like preaching forgiveness, but it's bigger than that, it's deeper than that. And I'm a warrior, I'm a fighter, and I'm fighting for you. Like he's saying to like you, the viewer, like all of us, like I'm fighting for you. and that they underestimated him being able to remain bound yet become healed at the same time. And he's acknowledging there's still a lot for him to heal when it comes to what has transpired in his life here on earth, but that he is now enlightened, therefore he has this power of knowledge, this infinite supply of knowledge, and he's also acknowledging it's not everything. I don't know everything because I'm still here, like the lower levels, in a way, but I still know a lot more. I can be a lot more places, and it's about believing, and then tapping in that that's where that power is. And they want us, like the living who eliminated him, not even just them specifically, but like everyone like this, and also like well-intentioned people who fall into this belief system, that when you're gone, or that you've like, you're gone, but that they still exist, and that the tell me again. Separation is an illusion. Separation, that's right. He's like funny. He's like very animated and like a lot. He's a lot. He has a big personality. And he's like, I'm passionate. I have a big personality because I'm passionate. And it's really funny. But what I mean, like with separation being an illusion, that's with like, that feeling that we have, which is, it's the beauty of being human, and that's part of our life lessons. And again, like we're all on different paths. You can't compare yourself to other people. Like fully compare yourself, obviously, like there's, anyway, because we're all on different paths, we're all on different journeys, and some people are not meant to be privy to this information or never believe it, and so that's okay. Like maybe this would not serve them, and maybe for some of you are like, this is whatever, maybe it doesn't serve you right now, and so you just kind of have to take it for how it is. But he's just all over the place right now. That's not it. It's just a lot to take in. And so he's like, okay, I'm gonna calm down. Okay. Or like not calm down. He's like, okay, I'm gonna slow down. Because he's talking about the one love and how important that is. One love. And he's like encouraging me to talk about that too, because that connects with separation being an illusion, and that the one love is the secret, is what he's saying. He's like, that's the key, is one love, and that we are all working towards. It's towards, again, that process of elimination, of loving ourselves and loving, it's like, I'm hearing loving thy neighbor, but that's a little too biblical for me, but, that's, so he's like, but it's good, that's a good thing, it's a good thing. And then he's talking about his life, so now he's talking about his life on earth and how he's so different than how he was here. And he's like making this joke with himself. And there's a couple other people around him, but I'm not looking at them, so I'm not gonna I might try and identify them in a minute, but it's like he's like saying, like, he's just joking, like, oh well, if they could see me now, is what he's saying, or like if if they knew that I was like this now, they would just like not be having it, kind of thing. And these are people that he obviously is not like connecting with. And he's saying there's a guy, and I'm seeing the color red, and that's someone that I don't know if he has a brother or if that's just someone that he considers like a brother to him, but that's someone that he connects to from time to time, a lot actually, and he considers that person like that's the love of his life, like that is his like best man, like that is, he has so much love for this particular person, and he's watching over them. But that's one of the people that he's talking about, that he connects them, but not in a way that these other people do, that are more connected to the other realms, like the occult, and are like really aware and do like, you know, ritualistic stuff in order to like conjure things up and stuff like the deeper stuff like that, and do like, you know, sacrifices and stuff, if I'm honest. But he's saying like, we don't want to talk about that, like I don't, like he's saying like saying to me, like we, like putting me with him, like we don't want to talk about that, we want to talk about what's right, we want to talk about which I agree. He's saying that he was injected with something and he was told it was something else. So that's what he meant by that they were playing him, is that he knowingly got injected by something. And I'm seeing white, like it's like milky white. And he was told that, like he's saying like, I was told that it was going to make me better, or it was going to make me feel better. And they injected me with something else that caused me to die. And he's saying it wasn't immediate. I'm seeing the color yellow, like this dress, or like this card here, that's easier to pick up. It's like this like mustard yellow. I'm seeing that like at the bottom of my vision, the bottom of my vision. I don't know why. I don't know what that is. I don't know if like someone was wearing, like that could be an indication to someone of like what he was wearing that day, that something happened with like these injections, or, well, I'm saying injections now, but I don't know if that's a slip up from me or if that's, this is a very interesting reading to me because I can very clearly hear what is being told to me as like threats to me, not like explicit threats, but just like kind of like telling me that I need to stop, or like I need to go, like you need to go. So it's just kind of interesting to see, because it just goes to show that he has a lot of information that they thought that if they got rid of him, see, and he's saying that he wouldn't have said anything anyway, and like maybe he would when he got older, but that he probably wouldn't have ever said anything. And he's like, and I could have also like died a different way, like actually like gotten killed, like shot or something, like from something completely unrelated. This is what he's saying. Or like a car accident is what he's saying. He's like, I could have just died tragically a different way if they didn't do this, but they thought, you know, like I was just such a big risk, and so they just got rid of me, because they know, oh my gosh, he's saying so much. So he said that they knew about like his soul, you know, the strength of his soul, the purity in his soul, that it was more of just like a risk, too risky, since they had more information than he did. And he's saying like at the time, the people that he's surrounded with weren't as privy to this information as they are present day, but there were people above them that were recruiting people around him that had this information. And so they were mostly the ones responsible, them, and then like he's saying like the people around him were responsible too, like directly around him were responsible too, but it was mostly like they didn't quite care. They were in it for themselves, you know, like very hedonistic. And he's like shaking his head and he's like, it's so backwards about the world. And he's saying that he works through a lot of psychics, and that he's like this, he is like this messenger where he comes through to help psychics like around the world, is what he's saying. He's like, I communicate the message. He's saying that he communicates the message of God to other psychics and to people who are like into spiritualism, like into that haven't connected God to spirituality. They think that it's like separated for some reason, or that are kind of going down, you know, like a darker path. That he says that he doesn't normally, like, if it depends on like how far down that path they are, whether he communicates with them or not, but that he comes through like intervention to help guide like newer, more like innocent, is what he's saying, like the innocence of people, and to guide them into information to help everyone. There's something he was just telling me and I lost it. Starts with an M, the letter M. I don't know, he's honestly like, he's just telling me, and it's the way that he's telling me, it makes this pathway, like it's almost like clearing the clutter for me, like clearing this pathway for me, where he wants me to speak about everything that I know. Like he's like encouraging me to speak all that I know, because it's to help everyone. And he helps, which is so funny because I was thinking about this earlier of like people comment and they thank me or they like compliment me, and I don't respond because I'm like kind of shy, you know, and like I don't know what to say because it's not about me. Like I'm just trying to pass the message, so I don't really want to get like involved, because then like I just want to stay humble about it so that I don't feel like it has anything to do with me, right? Like I'm literally the medium. But he's talking specifically about shyness and how he wants to encourage people not to be shy. Oh my gosh. This is so beautiful. The message that he's saying, he works with children. He works with children. He works with young people, like teenagers and children, a lot right now. And he's like so like laughing kind of, because he's like, he feels like they're fools, like the people who basically killed him. he thinks that they're foolish because they were doing the Lord's work, is kind of what he's saying. Like, they were doing God's work because now he can be even more powerful and like helpful by breaking him from his human body at a time where he feels he can do more and he can do better, and that he, you know, they didn't see the bigger picture. They thought that they were being sneaky and being slick, but they're not. And that the biggest message is like that, to never lose hope, and that for children specifically and teenagers, and then like shy adults, I guess, but not, he's like kind of like laughing like, not really. So anyway, that he wants people to embody who they truly are and to embrace who they truly are, and to he wants people to he wants to encourage people, like that's how he comes through to people, is to encourage people to explore who they are, and also eliminate the trauma. He wants to eliminate the trauma. There's a lot of trauma and confusion when it comes to kids now. A lot of confusion. And like, he's talking about how he doesn't want children, like he wants them to be who they are and to not feel the pressure of being someone that they're not. And he specifically, for some reason, like, this is gonna sound controversial for some people, I guess, I don't know, but he's saying like to just say it, but like how a lot of kids, he's saying like some kids, like they are expressing themselves by switching genders or becoming gay, but it's because they're traumatized. It's because they're not getting the attention or affection from their family or from the people around them, and he's emphasizing the trauma, and how he's saying the music industry are backing this. He's saying that the music industry is trying to create this environment for people, and how backwards it is and how twisted it is. And he's saying that had he been alive, he's saying that's about when he would have taken a stand about things and spoken out about things, because even as he recognizes, like, as a human when he was still here, that's something that he would not have been for. He would have been against, and he would have advocated against that, and there would have been a lot of problems there with him. And so that's why he's saying, like, that's not the only reason why he tries to connect with children, to help them and to help guide them, but that is one of the reasons why. So his final message, like, he's basically saying, like, I could be here all day. I could be here all day and talk all day, because he has a lot that he wants to say. He has a lot that he wants to, like, he's like, the story with me is not over. Like, I'm not ever gonna give up. I'm not going to give in. He's telling me to do a video on someone else, but I can't. It starts with an R. It's a living person, and he's pointing me. Okay, so it's a white person. I'm not gonna say that they're Caucasian, because I don't know. They just look like light, like a white person. It's a man. I can't get a picture on them. I can't. It's like, I thought that it was light brown hair, and then I thought that it was blonde. I can't figure it out. I can't even get their weight. I can't get anything. And when he's telling me this, it starts becoming really dull, so that tells me this is a really, like, not good person. He's telling me, like, I need to do one on them, and that'll give me a lot of more insight, more information, more answers when it comes to his story. There's someone connected, like he's connected, like real life. He was connected to this person, and that they have a lot of secrets, is what he's saying. A lot of secrets. They have the secrets. That's what he's saying. They have the secrets. They have the answers. They have the information. That's who you need to do reading on. He's like, you'll get a lot of information from that. And he's saying, like, I can tell you, but by doing that reading, I can connect to it better, is what he's trying to show me. Is like, you'll be able to see, like, a bigger picture instead of translating it from me. And then he's telling me about the future, how things are going to be very, very different in the near future. He's talking about 2022. He's like, 2022 to 2024, there's going to be big changes. And he's saying, like, he's talking about, this is, like, very different for me because this is not something I've ever, like, delved into. So maybe someone watching this has more information about this, but he's talking about the planetary shifts, the planetary alignment between 2022 to 2024, and how it's going to be completely different, and there's going to be a lot of shifts there. And these people that he was talking about, like, that's their intention, that they're going to have a lot of, like, world shifts. Like, there's, like, a lot of different changes within, like, world leaders, and that was pre-planned. Like, he's talking, like, the Freemasons and the branches of them. He's saying that these societies have planned for this change, and that, I mean, he's talking about a spiritual war. I mean, this is just a lot of information. He's trying to, like, not calm me down because I'm not overwhelmed. But he's like trying to tell me, like, okay, like, this is a lot. You need to do, it's like Richard or I don't know the name. It's an R name. Or it has an R in it. I think it starts with an R. It's like, you need to do the reading. I can't understand this picture that he's trying to show me, and how it feels is being exposed. It's as if the world he's talking about, like, everything. Like, he's talking about, like, a fake alien invasion that's going to be happening. It's not funny. It's just funny that, like, he says that he's a messenger, and then he's like, hold on, my alarm's going off. Anyway, so it's like he's literally talking about everything. Okay, and he's saying it's so important. He's saying it's so important to get these messages out there. He's telling me specifically that I need to talk. It's not funny. It's just, but it is to me. He's like, that you need to talk about you need to talk about everything. You need to talk about God. You need to talk about spirituality. You need to talk about the fake alien invasion. He's saying that there's going to be, again, it's not funny. It's just, anyway. There's going to be, they are planning a fake alien invasion in order for New World Order, is what he's saying. He's saying, like, a world war against other beings, and he's saying that they don't exist. They don't exist. As in, like, this is fake, that they're setting it up as a distraction, and that they want to okay, this is intense. Okay, he's saying He's saying that they want to destroy. Okay, that's why I got that feeling that they want to destroy Earth, and while they go to another world, like they will. I just heard Richard Branson, but isn't that the guy that's like the Virgin Airlines? I don't think that's who it is. That might be just like in my head for another random reason, but I'm gonna say it anyway. But he's saying like Bezos, you know how Bezos is going on that space shuttle? It's like, he's like, they want to go to another planet and then like destroy this, like have us destroy each other for them so that they can recreate. He's like, it's a slave state, a slave world. Like he wants me to talk about how they want to this. Okay, this is not new information to me, what he's telling me right now. He's telling me to talk about it. He's talking about how this world, like they're trying to enslave us by creating this reality where we, like, again, about the hedonism that I've talked about and like self-serving. It's very satanic in nature that they're trying to create as like this culture, right, of like worrying about yourself and like all of the things that are not of God, and that they try and make it seem as if it's liberation when it's actually enslaving. Okay, it's going against what you truly believe in, and then that's what he's connecting. Okay, makes sense. Thank you so much. So that's what he's connecting to the children. Okay, where these children are turning gay, turning themselves gay or trans, is because they are following what these musicians, the music industry is controlling this, and Hollywood is controlling this. This is what he's telling me right now. They are controlling this in order to brainwash the children, and this is conspiratory about the poisoning, but this is what he's saying. He's showing me injections, like the milky injection, and then he's showing me like it looks like a pill, like a very huge pill, like a round pill, but I think that that's supposed to be, these are supposed to just be symbols of poison, that they're poisoning us through he's saying everything. They're poisoning us through the air, through our foods, through our water, through what we consume, through the airwaves. He's talking about all of this, and he's saying that it's brainwashing the kids, it's confusing the kids, and that is a way for people to not follow their life lessons because now they're confused. They don't feel their divinity within them, and that they're following societal norms that are created by the music industry in order for them to enslave us as a soul. Because when we reincarnate to come back here specifically to learn a life lesson, then essentially he's calling this modern day Egypt. I've talked about this in another video. I've talked about that in several other videos, I think, where there are people similar to this. He's calling it modern day Egypt, modern day enslavement, and he's comparing it to how there are these pharaohs and that everyone is enslaved. Yeah, people now worship these people. Worship the pharaohs when it was a community, a whole society full of enslaved people. And what they want to do is recreate that, where they destroy, just like Egypt was destroyed, they destroy it in order to come back to recreate, to have that slave environment. And he's talking about, oh my gosh, he's just telling me everything. He's talking about how they're breeding women and breeding families and breeding children in order for them to essentially be like warriors. That's what he's saying, that there's this secret places. He's saying there's a bunch of secret places underground. He's saying they're underground. He's saying they're underground, and there are some that are on islands, and they're breeding people there in order for them to become warriors, like to fight against. So they're brainwashing them, and then they're brainwashing us to weaken us, to confuse us, and they're going to be pulling all kinds of stops. He's saying that this isn't, now he's talking about 2026, so this is something that's happening further into the future. He's saying that it's a potential, but this is something that they've been doing for a very long time. And that's something that we need to be aware of. He's also going back to what we were talking about with the children and confusing them, and how a lot of people, he's talking about how a lot of people are, he's talking about pedophiles, and he's talking about abusers. He's talking about how that they're the ones creating this in order for them to have this thing, have this, what's happening now in society. That is who is conducting this. And then he's talking about the purity of the children, the purity of the soul, and when the soul incarnates here, and that purity, and how they're trying to corrupt it early so that they can kind of harvest it. They're harvesting the energy from children, and then he's saying to not get into that too much, because that is, speaking too much about that is the work of evil. And he's saying to talk about hope, to talk about love. He's connecting back into the one love, and he's talking about how they will never be stronger, they will never be smarter, but this is something that we need to talk about. That's what he's saying. We, like me and him and everyone who's aware. And he's saying that there is a choice. You have a choice. It's not this or that. It's your choice. You have a choice to speak out. You have a choice to speak up. And that's what we need to do. That is what we need to do in order to continue forward, in order for us to keep moving. And he's again emphasizing how they underestimated him, because this is his divine duty, is what he's saying. This is, I am in my divinity. I am the messenger. And the card that I pulled is love yourself enough to say no to others' demands on your time and energy. It's boundaries. So again, it's about boundaries with these darker things. We have the art, express yourself through creative activities and transformation. You're experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessings. And it's through your creative right. Okay, you have a right to be as creative and as unique as you can, and that is your divine right in order to connect to God. And that is how you transform, and that is how you become more in touch and in tune with God, and with that God source and that God energy, in order to heal and to transform from the things that have held you back and continue to hold you back. Okay, so he's saying to keep producing. That's what he's saying. Keep producing. He's saying that to everyone. Keep producing. Keep producing your craft. Okay, that unfolding of I'm being shown my third eye. Okay, so he's talking about your third eye, and how your third eye awakens, it heals, he's saying uncracks, or uncracks. It's like a cracking of an egg is what I'm seeing. And he's saying that will awaken you. Continue to produce, continue to create, and that will awaken us all. He's emphasizing that. And then I'm seeing Sedona. Sedona, isn't that in Arizona? I don't know why. Here's Sedna, but I'm seeing Sedona. Okay, so I'm gonna stop my reading there. That went a little haywire. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed.